All right, good morning. Let's go ahead and turn this little cute faceted pre-night. It's about 8mm by 6 or 7, and we'll turn it into a ring. I'm using 16 inches of 18 gauge round copper wire. You can use any wire you want. And I'm going to find the approximate middle of it. And I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to grip the approximate middle of this wire, put my thumb above and below and my finger above, and just turn, just turn this wire so that you get the shape of an S and keep it flat. You can use the pliers to help you keep turning, and we'll make a little S around, a little circle around this S. And my gemstone's oval, so I'm going to try to make it more oval than circle. So I've put, one end a little bit longer here. Okay, and when you're ready, the wires should be opposite each other, and you'll make sure that your cup is flat. And then just raise these arms slightly. Just like that. So that you have a little cup that you can set your gemstone in. Now this is a little bit big, so I'm going to snuggle the wire up down here a little closer to my gem. And all I'm going to do is just use my finger to do that. It's a little squirrely, I'm not going to lie. And this is bigger wire, so if you need to, and I might, you can use your plier, give the most gentle squeeze, and just get the wire so that it edges your gemstone on both sides, just like that. And it should be sitting flat on that S curve. All right, and the arms are up slightly. Hold everything real tight between your finger and your thumb, and kind of jackknife, this back and forth action. It's big wire on a small gemstone. So just work patiently. When you meet the other wire, grab it and turn it, moving inward and upward slightly on your gemstone. And you have to go all the way up until you catch the upper shoulder of the gem. So one more time, and I've got some little gaps there, so I'm going to just do like that and get a little closer. I'm keeping a lot of pressure in the gemstone flat. Okay, almost there. And I'm going to stop right here on the side because I want my gem to sit this way for the ring. Okay. Once you get up above the shoulders of the gemstone, you'll see it's pretty locked in, okay? And this wire's thick against that small thing, so you won't have to worry about it slipping out. So my wires are going opposite each other. I'm going to get to the approximate middle over here and over here. It doesn't have to be the exact middle. And you can turn your wire out slightly, but make sure you don't lose the top of that gem. You're over the shoulders. I'll get my plier on it. I'm going to make this bend. I'm going to hold everything right here and bend it straight down the side of the cup, 90 degrees. Okay, turn it over, do the same thing. I'm just going to give a little outward bend so I can get it. It's thick wire. Hold the edge of the, I'm going to be just off the cup, because when I turn it's going to have some bulk, and don't let anything shift, just turn. Okay, 90 degrees straight down. That's a nice hearty ring top. So I'll turn it over. There's a 90-degree bend and a 90-degree bend. So I'm going to bring these two wires. This one's a little bit not in the center, but that's okay. I'm going to bring these two down right across the bottom of the cup. And just inside those 90-degree bends. Okay, so that they go to each side of those. If you need to fiddle it with your fingers a little bit, you can. You should have just a whisper of a gap underneath that cup. Try not to have any lumps there. Just try to make it kind of nice and straight. Okay, we're going to wrap that in a second. But that's your capture. And now you have quite a bit of wire on each side on 18 gauge round to make this ring. Alright, so I'm going to get about 6 inches of 22 gauge half round wire. Just get it straight with your fingers. Put the half round flat side of it looking at you, so facing up. Slip underneath these two wires, but not into the coil. Center your half round. Hold on to one side of it, and then with the other one, wrap these two wires a couple of good times. Use your pliers if you need to help you pull it tight, just like that, and then turn it to the other side and make a couple of wraps. Try to get close to the edge of the cup. And you can wrap all the way if you want to. I might do another one over here just to make the whole thing banded. And that's about good. So you have a piece of half round on each side of this ring. Just leave them there for a minute. Okay, so now let's get our ring mandrel out. And you're going to go down here and find the size of your ring mandrel. You can barely, of your ring, you can barely see. Mine's 6, 7, 8 right here. And whatever works. You could do this also with a big Sharpie marker if you don't have a mandrel, you know, the end of a screwdriver, etc. Okay, so you'll just hold, try to show you this best that I can. Hold your gem on the size that you want. Bend these two wires back. Cross them onto the mandrel. And you can fiddle them to get a little closer to the size. When we hammer it, it's going to grow a little bit. So I'm going to hold it tight right there and as even as you can around this mandrel. And just bring the wires up. If I were not under the camera, this would be easier. The mandrel could be snuggled into your lap. Okay, so you got two pieces of half round here ready. Stand them up and then lay these wires. You know, you might have to bend it out slightly to snuggle it underneath there. Okay. Try to get you some more. I'm going to turn it upside down. Just get your half round up and snuggle under the gemstone with this wire. Whew, okay, so I'm letting it go because I can show you. Then I'll have to cinch it back up here again. So just look at your mandrel, pull your ring tight. You can even slope these two wires down slightly to help you shape it, you know, all the way up here on the size smaller, because it's going to want to spring open. You want to have it a lot smaller so that, you know, down here is actually where I want to be and you won't fight so much with it. Okay, so even though I wanted a size 6, I'm going to come up here to a size 5 and cause the spring tension. So that my shank, when I grow it, you know, so right about there, okay? 6 and, 5 3/4 or 5 1/2, so that when I hammer it, it'll become a 6. If you feel like you need to tape it, you can tape it, or you can put a little Sharpie marker so that you know how your size, if your size changed or not while you're working. I like to just put a little piece of tape on it. So once I get it there, just go like this on the bottom of your shank. Just help you a little bit. It might go out of shape, and that's okay while we work, because we're going to hammer it. We're going to reshape it, so just don't worry so much about it. Just help you keep it in place. All right, so you want to make sure your gemstone's nice. These two wires you can get ready to work with. Obviously, we're going to catch these last open coil links with this. You don't have to, though. The other thing you can do is bend it around the shank and back over. It's super thick wire, so I kind of don't want to cause that bulk there, so I'm going to do it with the existing half round that's here. I'm going to weave just 1 or 2 stitches through here with this half round. So you'll take the half round, it's already going in a certain direction. The flat side's already on the frame. So to weave it, I'm going to first, so I've got 1 on each side, so I'm concerned with these 2 on this side and those 2 using that one. Okay, so first I'm going to get around both of them here with a loop. You don't have to, you know, pull it super tight. Then I'm going to get 1 more around. You have to pass through and then come back. Just don't let the half round turn over. You can use your pliers to help you. Make it tight right there. Just those 2, so I've grabbed them. Just leave your half round living there for a second. So now you can turn to this side. Same thing, I've got a half round already living here. So I'm just going to grab these 2. With 2 wraps. Okay, you can use your plier and help you tap all that if you need to. Make sure you got 2 nice tight loops. Oh, don't let it slide up the ring. Just right there. So we're still at the bottom of the cup with it, just like that. And then you have these 2 nice wire extensions to do whatever you want with. You know, I can go through and like weave this whole ring. I could go through, I could have made these longer and band, you know, banded all of that shank together. Okay, but I'm not going to. So I've capped the wires here and here. I'm going to leave the half round on there, and I've got design available to me if I want it. So I'm going to hold everything steady. It's thick wire, so doing it with your finger might not be the best idea, or if you want to do it with your hands, I advise you go back onto the ring mandrel so that you know, you don't change the size of it too much as you pull these. Alright, so you'll hold everything steady, and you can make, this one is coming from this side of the ring, so I'm going to make a 90-degree bend and go that way. Okay, holding everything steady and as close and underneath to the ring as I can get. I'm going to make a bend and just let your half round come from underneath it. Oop, I might have gone the wrong way with my half round. Yeah, I did. Just let your half round kind of be here above it. Make a clean turn right there. Okay, flip over. Do the same thing. Just get your half round up here and out of the way. Hold your ring on its size. See, I've grown already to 7. I'm gonna take this wire and just pull it tight again while the other one is, you know, stretched forward so I can get back to my size. The tape isn't so tight that it's gonna keep it from pulling, so. Okay. When you get it tight, hold it with the bottom of your finger there, and like I said, take it right here and just, you know, not, you can't be too close because then you won't be able to turn it, but try to get a nice close turn right there at the edge of your ring. Just like that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take this off so you can see what we've been doing. Okay. So you got this nice turn at the bottom of the cup. And now you can use these for design. Okay, your stone's in there, the ring shank's locked at this size here. So, and there's no bulk underneath your finger. So now I can go do design with these if I want to. I'm gonna, you know, just fan it out a little bit. If I didn't want to do design, I would cut it and I would bury the end right there in between the shank and the bottom of the cup. Okay, and that locks all this ring together. So, but if you want to do design, you can, you know, turn a little spiral outward here, like that. Switch over. Do the same on this side. Just hold the bottom and the top. Use the pad of your finger if you need to, but this wire is pretty big, so it should turn gracefully. And make it to the other side. Now if I want to coil, if I want to use these half rounds to make design, I can do that. I should have probably just cut this off, and I'm probably just going to cut this off up here. You cut yours off if you're watching this ahead before you do this. Bury it in there. Okay. Same thing here, I'll just cut it off. But if you want to do, you know, coiling, I could use it. Actually, I'll show you on just this one. The other one wasn't long enough, but I got a little half round here. So, you know, for some texture, and also to help me just grab and land that coil if I land that frame wire there if I need it. You know, just do some, just work to keep your half round flat side against the frame. This could also be 28 gauge. You know, I could be tying bead balls onto this thing if I wanted to be doing that right now. Just some ideas for you. This isn't going to make it all the way around, so I'll just nip it right here. But you get the idea. You could do some texture on that wire. I'll just push it back a little bit. So you see, I could have gone all the way if I want to. But anyway, come back, around to this side and make it as close or as far away as you want to give your ring some depth and some design. If you wanted to, you could flare it out a bit, bring it to meet this one, and then let's make something cute over here, just like that. Bring this other one in a little bit more, I think. Give some more grace to this one. Okay, just like that. And I have a landing pad here for some curl. I could come around the shank. Okay, so and I can weave that a little bit if I want to. You get the idea. Or I can just make it a clean, open turn, open design. Okay, so to end these over here, take this tape off. It's pretty tough and you don't really need to do a whole lot to lock it. But if you feel like you need to, you can, terminate these wires. A lot of folks will come through the shank here. Make sure you hold everything steady at your curves. It's big wire, so it's a little bit tough. Okay, just come in, get your plier on the inside one. Help you close it up right here at the ring, at the shank. Okay. And then now go past this next one up and go ahead and, before we cut anything. Okay, right beside it. Hold everything steady. Make the turn. This one is short, so don't let your nice curve disappear when you go in here. Now get, underneath and to the right of the first wire. Okay, so that they lay next to each other nicely. You see what I'm saying? Whoop. This could be done with 20 gauge also. Careful you don't scratch the top of that wire. So just like that. Every time you pass underneath the shank, you're going to decrease the size of the ring slightly with this bulk. And it's okay because we're going to hammer it out and that increases the size of the ring slightly. So, but you just want to keep that in mind as you do these things. So I'm holding this so that I can bring my wire back around and not have my curls move too much. And I'm going to bring them back around in the order that they pass through, right? So to eliminate bulk and keep them nicely side by side, you can use your plier and help you tap it a little bit. Tap it a little bit. Ooh, it's getting tight and crunchy here. Okay, so I'm not going to do too much more. It's a nice cute design. I can trim it and land a little loop right there, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just holding everything. Turn my curve, snip the bit. Get my round nose on it. Stubby round nose or thick round nose, but this is thick wire, so you don't want your really super fine round nose on it. Won't bend the wire. Or you can get your bent nose on it. I'm trying to turn it so you can see it. And if you need to sacrifice the tip because you need to grip real hard, do that. And turn a tight little spiral. Try to dive that tip, towards the inside there. Okay? just like that. If you munched that tip, you can get your snips right in there and just take the very, very tip of it out. And now bring this one, it's, you know, tight and crunchy, so, and hard wire. Bring it around up here. Just kind of echo, you know, the curve of that guy. But this time we're going to make it come to the top of the cup here, if you can. And bring it out this other direction. It's going to be tight, okay? And I'm just going to land the slightest little curl right there. I'm going to trim away this super hard end. Maybe a little more. Ooh. Okay, and this time I'm going to use my fine flat nose. I could also be using my bent nose for this. Just grip the very tip, okay? Hold on to all this pretty. Lift up slightly because you want some leverage, and turn that tip back onto itself. Ooh. I kind of have to get above it and push it in. Before I push it in, though, I've got that munchy little bit because I grabbed it. So I'm going to take my plier, my cutter, my very fine cutter, put your thumb here so that shard doesn't get at you. Snip that very crunchy tip out. And now finish this little spiral into a super tight closed loop. Okay? And now lay it back down elegantly. Get a little wider plier so you don't scratch, or just be careful. And turn that little cutie out and make it lay, whoop, on the edge of your ring. Okay, so cute. All right, whew, everybody breathe. Okay, get your mandrel back out. Slide the ring back on. Come back down to your intended size. Might be a slightly bigger, slightly smaller. Mine's probably going to be a little bit bigger than I intended. And before you hammer anything, do what I call leveling out the ring. Come up and look on top of it and push these coils and level it out. Okay? So that it'll sit nicely against the finger. Push it all down. Okay? Great job. This ring in the end, see, I'm at 5 3/4, just where I said I was going to be. And then when I hammer it, it's probably going to go to 6 or 6 1/4 here. Okay? So you don't want to hammer the gemstone elements, certainly. So I like to just get, let me get my, if you have a rubber mallet, you know, a small rubber mallet, it's best. Where's my Old Faithful? I don't see her. I'm just going to use a little hammer. You can use, you know, your chasing hammer, but I use the little one so that I can get into this edge right here. And you're not looking to smash it. You're looking just to, you can even go to the side of it. So I'm going to tap that edge. I'm going to go over here and tap this edge. I'm going to settle my ring, okay, and then I'm just going to, you know, if you have a rubber mallet, it's better. You see the ring is already growing just because of those 2 edges I did. And, you know, this is a tapered mandrel, so this wire is going to be, you know, hammered on a shorter length than this side of the wire. So you'll do a few taps on each side and then come to the middle. I like to tap, you know, towards towards the gemstone from the bottom center. And then you can turn it over, lift it out, turn the ring over, come back down to the sides. And again, I'm not smashing it. I'm just doing gentle tapping. And now just give another hammer. And we're doing this because to level out the wires. The mandrel, my mandrel is slanted. Okay, that hardens the shank up. I didn't leave any marks on my wire. I can band that if I want to, but I like a nice clean band. And then that's a nice, clean, beautiful ring, size 6 1/4 for your finger. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a nice, simple ring, scratchless on the inside, and we're going to call it the Midway Station ring. Ring design number 1, pre-night. Okay, I'm going to give you another one in a little bit. So I'm going to use some 26 gauge wire for some texture. I'm going to add some things to this pre-night. And I'll just anchor it right here at the base of this frame wire. So I'm going to pass about 5 inches through. I've got 12 inches of 26 gauge, and I'm going to do something with this half as wide, maybe 5 inches. And then right here along here, I'll just anchor it by making a couple of coils. 26 gauge is similar to 28, but it is a little bit thicker, so it's fun for a different texture, and it's great to tie bead balls on with. So there's 2. Alright, so I slipped in, a little copper bead. These could be gemstone beads if you want. I made 3 extra little wraps. I'm going to grab another little bead. Slip it down there. The holes in these beads are a little bigger than I want them, but that's okay. I'm sure yours will be great. I'll just tie them in there like that. Whoop! Dove it in there. Didn't fit. It's okay. I'll send it out and get a different bead. A little bit bigger. And these are different from each other, but you get the idea about how you can embellish your ring. Oh, slipped in between the shank by accident, so I'm just going to slip back out. Make a few wraps and tie this onto here. Probably going to slip another bead in there, just because I got the space for it on my ring. And as you weave, and attach embellishments back towards the shank, if you feel like you need to grip it, you can do that, with the loop of this wire too. So let me get another one, a little bit smaller like the first one. All of my copper beads are a different brand here. So I just went smaller again because my space decreased. I'm going to come through here, land my bead, and you have to turn them so that, you know, you don't see the little ends sometimes as you're sewing them in here, best that you can. Oh, fell through. Push it back out. Okay. And then while I'm here, I am actually going to catch the shank and tie this element down as I make a couple of laps. I'm going to take 2 around to tie this ball on. And then on the third one, I'm going to pass below the shank, through the shank, to catch it. Okay. I'll just come back over here like nothing ever happened and continue. I'll slip my wire back underneath so I can't see that tie. And then I have room for another little tiny one. If you have a little tiny one, I might. Or not, whatever you want to do. Like I said, this would be really pretty if those were gemstones. Gemstone beads too. So I got room for another one. I put a 1mm here, just for fun. Then I'll make a couple of coils around this guy. And just for texture, I could keep going if I want to. That's cute. So I'll just keep going, just for texture. Tie these 2 together all the way around. Make coil. This over here, I'm still leaving here for a minute. I could have, you know, tied some 1mm down there if I want to, is why that's there. If you don't, you cut it off. Or maybe this one was long enough that I could have made it over here and tied some more on if I want to. After a few, just give a little tap. You know, work yours the way you want it. That's going to be so cute. Such a pretty ring. And you can just do this to your liking. Probably gonna do a few till I get to the edge of this. It's getting tight to get in there now. Yeah, I missed that last one. Probably just snip it out right there. I messed up that last coil, so I just snipped it out. You know, you don't want anything on the finger, so when you cut this one, you know, it's almost better to try to leave it up here somewhere if you can cut it deep. If you can't cut it deep, come from underneath here and cut it so that it's long enough that the tip is going into that crevice and not onto the finger that it can't slide off this coil. Just like that. And bury it to the inside. Okay, way in there. So it's not on the finger at all. So you get the idea. Spread mine out a little bit. And then I have this, you know, leading one over here that I could, you know, continue if I wanted to do a few more in there, or I could weave these two up, or I could wrap some texture, you know, onto this one, or I could cut it off, or I could add bead balls down there, you know, all kinds of stuff. For me, for this one, I think I'm probably just going to cut it off. Actually, I might, let's do 2 wraps around these 2 looped elements. So I'm going to tie these 2 together. So I'll just make sure there's no bubble in there. And I just want 2 discrete little wraps. That just broke. And if that happens, that's okay. Let's see if I can get one out of it. No, it's probably going to be too short. But you get the idea. You could have wrapped one there if you needed it. I'm probably now just going to end this wire in here since it broke and I don't really need it. Try to get in there and cut it the best that you can. Don't cut any other wire off. And then just try to tap that cut end down. It's living between these spirals. Okay. If I still feel like I need to tie them, I can just get an independent piece of wire. Make a couple of wraps around both these coils, around both these wires. And then you can take, you know, you can make a couple of wraps around this single one here to lock it. And again, this is optional. These wires are 18 gauge, so it's probably thick enough that it would actually stay without this tie, but I show it to you in case if you're using 20 gauge, that might not stay without a tie. It's a little thinner wire. I'll make 3 wraps and then I'll just end it. Tuck the cut underneath. Just like that. Same with this side. Do a couple of single wraps just to make it look nice on the design if you can get it. And I'll just cut it right there and tuck that second coil in. Okay, beautiful little ring. And again, I probably would have chosen bead balls that the holes weren't so big, but this is all I got. You get the idea. You just face the holes inward. Tap these right here. Don't break your wire, but just tap them if you need to. Okay, so there's that one. So pretty. Still scratchless and completely clean on the inside. Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, this time we're going to make a ring using a little Leonis stone. So I've already captured the stone using Midway Station. I used a 22-inch piece of 18 gauge round soft wire, and I set the Leonis in the middle. Okay, and I wrapped it up here using about 6 inches of 22 gauge half round wire, just like we always do. In this ring, I'm going to show you how to use or how to create 4 bands on the shank of this ring, and how to do that on the mandrel with my little trick. Okay, so I'm going to take my mandrel, and remember they're tapered. They go from size 1. My mandrel goes all the way up to size 15. And I'm going to shoot for a ring size 6, right about here. So, but I'm going to start my ring way up here. And I'll show you why. We're going to make a spring shank using each of these wires, and we're going to make 4 bands for the shank. So what happens when you make a spring is that once you let go of the coil, the wires want to expand. So rather than fighting this entire, the slide of this entire mandrel, I like to just go up here to the top. I'm going to hold my ring or my gemstone cup with my thumb, and I'm going to take this wire, lay them down. I'm going to take this half round, and I'm going to come around the top of this mandrel and underneath the stone and over the half round. Okay, this half round is going in a certain direction. I've left it with the flat side facing up. I'm going to come around my mandrel again, and just lay it down like that. Okay, then take the ring, flip it over and reposition it on the mandrel. Get your half rounds so that this one is pointed down and the flat side's looking at you, because that's the way we have them in the back. And this one is laying this way with the flat side facing you. And now we'll take and do the same with this opposite wire here. Okay, so I'll take this one that hasn't been rounded yet, and I'll pass around the mandrel, underneath the ring cup, and around the mandrel again. Okay. Just like that. So this is what you have from that. you have 4 bands for your shank in the back. And I'll show you how to hammer this out so that they come together. And when you look at it from the front, it kind of looks like you got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, if you count these 2 outside open ones. Okay? So pretty much this ring right now is about a size 2. That isn't going to fit much. So I'm just going to scooch it down now. It's one big coil. And so you can just use your fingers and gently scooch it down. These 2 are going to want to draw up as you grow this ring. So just let them. And try not to break your half round. And just scooch it down here until it becomes a 5.5. Here's my 6 marker, so I want to land the ring right about here, crawl the ring down to here. You see how these 2 wires just, let the ring have length as you grew the shank. But this way, the ring is gripping the mandrel while you're growing its size. If you try to coil it around right here, when it springs open, it's going to want to be this big. Okay, so if you start way up here, then you can grow the size and you have tension now in the spring to help you hold the ring right here. Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, now you can lay these all back down, get them all neatened up again. Put your half rounds back down, bring this coil back around to either side. Okay, so that looks pretty good, and it's about at a 5.5 because when I hammer it, it's going to grow to about a 6. Okay. So you can go ahead and take it off the mandrel now. Get your wires all, the 4 wires in the middle, kind of back together. And you'll see too, even though we're going to band these, there's still room for it to grow. So once we get it back on the mandrel, we'll shape it again. But for right now, we're going to catch these wires. So the half rounds are going already in a certain direction. And hopefully the flat side's, looking up towards the stone. You've got 1 on each side. So I'm going to start with this one on the right. Hopefully you can see it okay. And I just want to catch these bands. So I'm going to come over through the shank and come over both of these. And you want the tension tight enough. It's a little bit tricky while it's underneath the cup here. You want the tension tight enough that you've got no bubbles in here, but you don't want them so tight that you can't pass through them. You want about 1 millimeter. So after I tighten it up, I just stick my fingernail back in it and loosen it back up again evenly. Okay? Then come over both of those. Come down through the 3rd one. Use your plier to help you with this wire. And again, kind of pull them together and just do a nice wrap on them. But make sure you don't squish these wires together. Just leave the slightest gap. It's not hugely important, okay? Because we're going to hammer it all together. And then just give a little tap if needed. Don't crush the wire, just slightly tap it. And now come up between wires, the first 2. Okay. Kind of weaving with this half round. That's why you need that gap so you can come back through. Okay. See underneath. Now I'm going to catch the next 2. And I'm going to come up in the middle of these, in the middle. You can use your pliers to help you. I should have given you a little more length on this. Just use your fingernails pull that half round tight. Come back over. You gotta catch this 5th wire up here. Okay? Just tap up, tap it a little bit if there's a bubble. Okay. And you're gonna come up between these two here next. So make sure there's the slight gap. Yeah, give yourself more like 8 inches of wire so you're not working too short here with this half round. I'm wishing I had started with 8 inches now. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to make it with 1 loop. Just tap these so you've got just a nice little weave up the side of your ring, up the side of the cup, through all of these shank wires. And then I'm going to do 1 final single wrap around this end one. And I'm going to leave the cut looking up. Okay, so not underneath. And it's okay because we're going to use that wire for design anyway, and that spot won't be seen. So just like that, keep the cut on top. Okay, won't see that at all. And now go weave this side. Do the same thing. See where your half round's coming from. Just make it straight. Catch these first 2 wires with 1 loop. Pull tight and stick your finger in there and let it expand again. Then come up and dive into the 3rd one, between the 3rd and 4th one up here. It's short and you can't make the turn. We're going to come back up. So you have to go all the way through like you're catching all 3 of them. Oh, that's not my tapper. Plier, that's my cutter. Okay, get a nice band on them and then come up between these 2 so that you can grab the next 2. Keep the flat side of the half round on the frame shank wires. Come up in the middle. So we're grabbing these next 2. I pulled it tight. So I'm going to stick my finger in there and loosen it back up. Tap it lightly. And I'll catch these last 2. Come up in between here. So we're just kind of making like a 2-on-2 weave, 2/2 weave with this half round. Okay, just like that. You can push them all close to the stone in a minute. Do a 360 around this guy. Once or twice and land that cut up here. Okay. So then just get all these close. You could have taken that half round and done some, decorative wiring there. Okay, so pretty much our ring is caught. It's a scratchless shank. It's a nice four sturdy bands. Looks good. So let's put this back on our mandrel. Take it back down to the size. Hold on to your stone and turn it. Just kind of whittle it down carefully. Okay, so it should give you tension at about 5.5 right here. And that's about where we're going to hammer the ring once we do design on it. Okay, so you can leave it on the mandrel. This just helps to kind of reshape things. Or you can work off the mandrel right now, whichever is easier for you. I'm going to work on the mandrel so that my newbies can maybe have an easier time. So I've just reshaped the shank. I've just pushed my weaves, tight into the stone. And now I have these 2 wires for design. So I can do anything I want. I can come around and make swirls. I can go this way, with either of them. So I think I'm going to do that. Last time we went this way, and followed the curve of the wire. And that would also, by the way, lock the shank. So if I turned it this way, the shank is locked by the weaves, but if you needed it more so, we could turn it out this way with design and just lock it in as well. So this time I'm going to go this way, and I'm just going to do a nice wide turn, like I'm making a spiral around here. Okay, and then I'll chase it with this one. Just make sure your weaves are turned in nice and that they're fairly even to both sides there. Just give yourself a nice, use the mandrel, give yourself a nice spiral to the other side. And I'm going to show you, I'm curving these wires as I turn them. I'm using the edge of the mandrel here. And I'm coming down so that I meet this other one. You can make that turn as big or as little as you want. Same thing here. Just going to turn down until I get to the edge of this guy. Okay, so I've got a nice spiral going on. Make sure that you look at the profile and that your cup, is sitting nice. Don't worry about it right now. It'll all straighten out. But as you turn these wires, you just want to make sure you're always checking your stone, checking everything to make sure things don't shift too much. Okay, so now I can take this above the other edge. And above the other edge. And I can lock it down, right in there, or I can spin around again and see if I like that. If I want to spin around again, this is kind of like an eye shape. So rather than just turn it, I'm going to get my plier right here and give it the slightest corner to help it turn in a clean way. So right here, where the edge of the cup comes down, I've got my wire slanted where, curved where I want it. Now I'm just going to take this and make the slightest hard point right there. It's a soft point actually. All I did was I took that and just gave it a little turnout. Okay, so now when I do my curve, that little point will snuggle up nice. Okay, turning down into the side of this ring and bringing these wires together again. And I'll just lay on top of this side, see? So now you have a nice little base to, do some design with. So the main part of this is to give you 4 shanks back here and to give you another little swirly design. I could go around more if you want to do more. I think for me, I'm going to just end a couple of turns here, and then we'll add some beads to this, and then we'll hammer out. Okay? So you can go ahead and take that off the mandrel. So these right here, I'm just going to hold them now that I have them where I want them. I'm going to turn this one up slightly. Probably want to drop a little curl right there. So I'll just give myself some space. And then again, I want to come to this side, so I'm not just going to turn this. You could, but you could also just give it a little, tip right here so that it makes that corner. So just slightly like that. Just the slightest tip. So that when I turn this, it's a little helps a little bit. Sometimes not. And then, I'll make another pretty turn, up with that one, I think. Yeah, I think that's pretty. So we'll cut this one. Nice clean cut. Get a round nose on it. Just turn a cute turn into that space. Okay, this should lay nice. And then I can leave this one way over here. I could, make the turn go the other way, but I'll just echo it. So I'll give a cut out here. I'll get the tip of this. I've got my thumb right there just helping me hold that curve. I'm going to get a nice tight turn going down. Always looking at this one too to make them pretty, so that they can live next to each other and look pretty. I'll just turn a little curl into this spot right here. It's thick wire, so sometimes I like to tighten it up with some flat nose. That's cute. I munched the tip there, so that's my usual. So I'm going to snip it out. I always plan to sacrifice the tips because I need it. I need to grip real hard. Okay, so that's really pretty. You can add beads. We'll do that in a minute. Tie some coils, whatever you want to do. Okay, very pretty. So now let's grow this a little bit and hammer the shank. Put it back on here. Sometimes I tie the elements down and then I hammer it. Sometimes I hammer it because these are open elements, so they're going to adjust. So I feel like I'm going to adjust them anyway, so I don't tie them down just yet. Anyway, it's up to you. So I'm going to settle my ring, find my size, so I'm at 5.5. I'm always going to safeguard, the ring head. And back here, I'm going to start in the middle of this wire. I always like to make sure that my sides are settled, okay, that they're nice and, where I want them. Put your finger on the ring. You can give a little bit of a tap. I always do this just to kind of feel my hammer, not really doing anything more than tapping these edges, making sure things are nice. Okay, so we'll start the hammer from the center back of the ring. I'm going to hammer it this way towards each edge, okay? And then after that, I'm going to be doing more of a sliding action because I'm going to hammer like down the shank, and I'm going to hit these bands down. Okay, so first we'll just hammer. You'll feel the ring grow. Just settle it. Check everything. There's no urgency here, so you just hammer carefully, always safeguarding the top of your stone. Okay. So once you get a hammer all the way across this shank, and you feel like you've hammered it fairly even across here, hammer down so it's more like you're sliding. It's hard to show you under the camera, but it's more like you're sliding down the shank and hitting these bands downward. Okay. After you've done that a few times, take the ring, check the design elements, make sure they didn't shift too much, like this one is shifting. That's okay. I've still got room for it to shift. Just reposition, spin your mandrel, and flip your ring over. The mandrel's tapered, so you got to hammer the ring on, on both sides. So I'll come down, see it's grown to 6. I'm making sure my design still looks the way I want it to, and it does. It's still living, everything is still living where I want it to. And now I'm going to hammer it again. And I'm right over size 6. So I'm just going to strike the edge of these bands together, coming down. So that's pretty good. So I'm actually more like at 6 1/4, but that's okay. If you take the tension off of it, it settles right about 6. All right. So now that's how you hammer your multi-band shank here. It's beautiful. It's wide and it's sturdy. And you've got a nice ring head. Lots of options for embellishment. So I hope you like that. And you can come back and, do some more decoration with me in a minute if you want to. Okay, welcome back. So with this ring now, I've just grabbed some I think these are 2 millimeter. I don't know how seed beads are sized, but these are about 1-2 millimeter beads. So cute. Copper colored. They don't have to be copper metal. These are beautiful. I think they're glass or some seed beads, but I used 26 gauge wire. I anchored to my ring frame. Here's the leading fragment. And then I just inserted, a line of these beads, tied them down here and grabbed my loop, my spiral decoration while I'm at it. I still have my length, and I can use it right now to insert maybe a bigger bead ball right here or a big crystal if I want, which is a side of me you don't even know yet. So I have these beautiful 6 mil, well, it kind of looks like a mixed bucket, but these are supposed to be, I think they're 4 millimeter, maybe 6, pre-night beads. Ooh, I have some other cute little 4 millimeter jades or something in here. All right, so I'll find one of these that I like. This guy's good. And I'll just drop them onto the end of my 26 gauge. Take it down to the ring and see if I like it. Oh, that's so cute. I do. So I'll just tie him on right there. I need to catch, this loop here, this spiral, so might as well do it with this wire because it's handy and it's right here. And then I can continue down this spiral and continue to coil if I want to. And I probably will do that. That's cute. And I'll just make a few coils until I reach over here. Right here, you might also, while you're, because these are open elements, as you pass the shank, find discrete ways to maybe grab one time. If you need to settle these down to the shank at all, if you feel like they lift at all, then use the opportunity while you're here to maybe get one loop around that guy on the inside. So it helps to hold this element against the side of the ring. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'll keep wrapping to my liking here. You could have dropped another couple of beads in there if you felt like you wanted to. I'm always holding my element down with my thumb because I'm pulling up and away with this weaving wire. You don't want to accidentally pull everything out of shape. So when you feel like you're close enough, if you want to, you can jump through both of those. It's just start making, you know, an attractive double coil along here. And that holds all that together in the elements down too. And here's where I'm talking about. I have a really good opportunity to come down here and grab this bottom wire to help hold this element down onto the ring shank if I need to. Okay, I can pass through here. I would do it discreetly so you don't have, you know, a wire doing this. But as you're coiling past, you can, if you need to. You could also be adding more beads to this side if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to make some coils. And then I might actually even just not coil all the way around. I might just end it right over here somewhere cute. Just like that. And if I wanted to end it right here, we're certainly not going to leave this wire pointed down towards the finger. There's a nice crevice right there. You cut this and tuck it up in there. Okay? Alright, you guys. Well, I hope you enjoy this little ring series. I might do one or two more this week for us, so we have a few ring options. So we've done a double shank, and now we've done 4. You could weave all of this too, by the way, if you wanted to. We don't have to. There's an easier way to do that, but you could. I'm going to go ahead and start trimming off my leading wire here. I'm going to point it up. I'm going to snip it, and I'm just going to tuck it over so that it isn't seen on top of this wire right there. Just like that. I would get a finer plier here. Let's see. All I did with that was cut it, and then I flipped it up and snuggled it right there between those two. It'll never be seen or felt. It'll never come out. Okay. And now this one over here, if you're not going to coil all the way over, find a spot somewhere in here. I feel like that's going to slide, so I'm actually going to try to catch it a little better than that. So I'm holding all these coils back. I don't want them to go loose over time, so to trim it right there, it might over time go loose. So I might, it'll be hard to do, but you could try to dive, you know, into there. And I'm going to try to do that from the top and catch that single frame wire through the shank there. You see that? What I just did. Pull it through. Oop, just broke. There's my bit at the end, and it just broke right there. So I'm going to just turn it up. Lucky for me, there's probably just enough room. You would have made one loop around this one and pointed the end of the wire up. Seems a little tedious, but if you're going to make these beautiful rings, you don't want things like these little wires letting go. Ooh, tight, but it's up there. Okay, that makes me feel better. Okay, scratchless, and that should never let go. And so pretty. Hope you enjoyed this one. Please let me know how you feel about these rings, and certainly if you make them, hunt me down on social media and show me your beautiful creation. Thanks again for being here with me. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.